It's not even locked, man. That's what he yelled right before smashing my Lamborghini into a neighbor's fence at 4 in the morning. And you know what? Instead of outrage, somehow I'm the one being blamed by his mother, who just happens to be the HOA president. Every time I try to defend myself, it feels like they've already written the next act and handed me my lines, just a puppet in their little neighborhood drama. I swear there's something bigger at play here, something I can't quite name yet. Tell me in the comments if you've ever felt cornered like that, where every move you make, someone's waiting to flip the blame on you. First thing I noticed that night isn't the steam rising from my busted radiator, or the way my car's mangled around the fence like expensive origami. Nope. It's Brandon Hart standing there in yesterday's hoodie pointing at my car like I'm the one who took it for a joyride and lost control at 4:23 a.m. The kid's got nerve, I'll give him that. Officer Lewis is taking notes while Brandon spins this wild tale about how this whole mess is really my fault for owning something too nice in the wrong neighborhood. The morning mist turns everything ghostly, like a scene from a discount crime show, except that 30 grand in damages is all too real and my stomach's in knots. Sir, having luxury vehicles in a residential community creates certain responsibilities, says Linda Hart, materializing beside her son, looking like she just stepped out of an HOA handbook. She's got that same navy blazer on, the one she wears to every board meeting, as if she's running for mayor of our cul-de-sac. When expensive cars attract this kind of behavior, the owner bears some accountability for community safety. I watch Officer Lewis scribble something, probably her speech word for word, or maybe just his grocery list. The way she talks, you'd think I left my Lambo out with a sign that read, "Please steal me and drive through Mrs. Thompson's fence." Brandon keeps glancing at the smart street light on the corner, a light with a QR code for reporting traffic issues. Probably has a camera. I make a mental note to check on that later, assuming the city actually maintains those things. The car wasn't even locked, Brandon mutters, and something cold settles in my chest because No, I hit the lock button last night. Always do, especially living in a place where the average car is older than some of the trees. Officer Lewis glances up but doesn't push Brandon. The story unravels in pieces like a script he rehearsed in the mirror. Claims he was walking home from a friend's house at 4:30 a.m., saw my car, just tried the handle, and wow, it opened. Took it for a quick spin around the block to see what the fuss was about, lost control, turning onto our street, and boom, my car's wrapped around a fence. The whole thing sounds so practiced, it's almost insulting. I keep my voice level even though I want to ask what kind of friend lives outside our gate at that hour. I want you to document the fence damage carefully, I tell Officer Lewis. If that fence borders a city easement, this is a municipal safety issue, not just property damage. Linda's eyes narrow, but Officer Lewis nods. I'm not being difficult, I'm being smart. Something's wrong here. You ever walk into a room and everyone stops talking? That's the vibe. The smell of antifreeze mixes with morning dew, but it's not nostalgia. It's expensive, and my insurance is going to ask questions I don't have answers for. Like, how did a 19-year-old manage to start a car that needs either the key fob or the app to even turn on? Brandon won't shut up about how sorry he is, how he never meant for this to happen, how he'll do whatever it takes. But then Linda jumps back in with another lecture about community responsibility, and just like that, we're back to it being my fault for having nice things. Officer Lewis, I'd like a formal investigation into how this vehicle was accessed without authorization, I say, watching Brandon's face. There's a flicker. Panic or guilt, can't say which. My car has electronic locks, anti-theft system stuff that doesn't just fail randomly. Linda tries to object, but Lewis holds up a hand, asks me to explain. I tell him about the key fob, the mobile app, how you can't just hotwire this thing. Brandon insists again it wasn't locked, but now his words are flat and brittle, like he practiced too hard. The blue and red lights from Lewis's patrol car wash over everything. People are watching from their windows, pretending not to stare. This will be the talk of the neighborhood for months. Linda keeps glancing around, probably counting witnesses. Brandon's story doesn't add up. The car's parked deep in my driveway, not visible from the sidewalk. He'd have to walk up intentionally to even try the door. That's not a mistake, that's trespassing. When I point this out, Brandon claims he was cutting through yards to get home faster. Officer Lewis says we'll need to have the vehicle examined for signs of forced entry. I feel a little surge of relief. Finally, someone's taking this seriously. My neighbor, Mrs. Thompson, comes out. She's got eyes like a hawk. She tells Lewis, "That boy was nosing around last week, kept circling fences asking about when folks come and go." Brandon starts to protest, but Linda shuts him up with a hand on his arm, tells you everything you need to know. Turns out Brandon had told folks he was conducting a neighborhood security assessment for the HOA, which sounds official enough that nobody questioned it. But Mrs. Thompson thought it was weird 19-year-olds don't usually do security walkthroughs. He'd been eyeing driveways and garages. That's not curiosity, that's recon. Officer Lewis takes all this down. Brandon looks at his mom like he's hoping she'll save him. And the dynamic is weird. It's like she's calling the shots and he's just along for the ride. The car's impact shows it was going way too fast for a nervous kid just testing the controls. Tire marks say reckless, not inexperienced. I'm watching my car leak onto the street thinking I started this morning just wanting a cup of coffee. Now I'm wondering if my own HOA president helped her son steal my car. Feels paranoid to even say it, but the puzzle pieces are lining up. After the cops leave, I dig into my car's digital records. Every modern car keeps a trail. My Lambo's a computer on wheels. The mobile app logs. Everything unlocks, starts, valet mode. What I find makes my coffee go cold at 4:18 a.m. mobile key activation. At 4:20, valet mode enabled from inside the car. Not my phone, which was plugged in beside my bed. Somebody with access to a management override let Brandon into the community. Then he used some kind of relay device or signal booster to access my car. The gate log matches the timeline. 4:15 a.m. override code used normally reserved for board members. I submit a request for the smart streetlight footage. City says I'll get it in 72 hours. Next day I get an email attached is a 5-second clip, shows Brandon in that same hoodie climbing out of my car and immediately making a phone call. Not checking himself for injuries, not even glancing back, just reporting in, like he's following instructions. You ever see someone act so unbothered it makes your skin crawl? That afternoon, I get a certified letter from the HOA. Architectural review violation, excessive luxury vehicle display. $250 fine and 30 days to remediate the visual impact of my car. And Linda's signature is right there at the bottom, dated the same morning Officer Lewis was still writing up the theft report. That's what you call proactive, I guess, if your definition of proactive is morally bankrupt. The timing is too perfect. I start saving every document, every screenshot. A few hours later, an independent technician comes by to assess the damage before insurance picks up the car. He pokes around my garage, then pauses, staring at a little gray box mounted near where I park. "You know what that is?" he asks. I shake my head. He opens it up. Inside is a signal booster, a battery pack, an antenna array. It's the kind of thing that can amplify a key fob signal, makes it possible to unlock and start a car from farther away. And get this, there's an HOA vendor inspection sticker on it, dated the day before the theft, authorized by Linda Hart, supposedly for a gate signal extension project. But my garage isn't anywhere near the gate. Technician documents everything. Turns out this little box is hardwired into my garage power professional job. I call the fire marshal, who comes out and confirms it's a serious code violation, not to mention a safety risk. Turns out installing unauthorized electrical equipment to facilitate theft is a big deal. They bag the evidence. Then they run the serial number on the booster, ordered in a bulk shipment for the HOA, but only mine ever got installed. I start to realize this was never some random teenager's bad idea. This was a planned operation using legitimate HOA channels as cover. The technician even finds a signal recorder records and replays my key fob signal. Someone's been logging my unlocks for days. The dots are connecting. Linda Hart used her position to create a perfect setup. My lawyer, Rebecca, old college friend, now a civil litigator, lays it out for me in her office with all the evidence spread on her conference table. Someone with HOA authority installed this equipment on your property, which enabled the theft, then tried to fine you for owning the car. The insurance exclusion clause is a smoking gun. Any damage facilitated by unauthorized modifications voids coverage, makes the authorizing party personally liable. Rebecca calls the bank holding the HOA's reserve funds and insurance bonds. She presents the evidence, and the bank reps go pale. If insurance won't cover the claim, Linda Hart's assets become collateral. City code enforcement comes down with fines, the fire marshal logs safety violations, and Officer Lewis pushes for criminal charges, vehicle theft, conspiracy, insurance fraud. And then for the grand finale, public removal of the illegal devices. Fire marshal, city inspectors, bank reps, law enforcement all show up. Linda arrives, tries to keep it quiet, but there's no hiding now. Every neighbor sees her lose control in real time. Mrs. Thompson testifies about Brandon's earlier security rounds. The bank suspends HOA insurance until proper oversight is in place. Linda's forced to sign personal guarantees. Her composure crumbles, her influence collapses. By the time it all hits the courthouse, it's not just about a stolen car. It's about abuse of authority, systematic surveillance, and personal responsibility. Brandon pleads out, gets probation and restitution. Linda faces probation, pays damages, is permanently banned from HOA authority. The Hart family moves out, loading boxes into a truck, hoping to disappear before their reputation ruins what's left of their lives here. But the damage is done. The new HOA board enacts strict oversight. Residents are empowered. The insurance industry updates its guidelines. My case becomes precedent. The message is clear: you use authority to facilitate crime, you pay the price personally, publicly, and for a long time after. So is that justice or just business? I think it's both. I didn't fight this to get revenge, but to set a precedent. That power without accountability is just organized crime in a blazer. If you made it this far, tell me in the comments, what would you have done? Would you take the money or see it through? And hey, if you want more wild HOA stories, hit like, subscribe, drop your thoughts below. Until next time, keep your keys close and your neighbors closer.